Hello, everybody. Welcome to Learning Curves. We're back at Gigglewaters today. They are the winners of our $10,000 marketing makeover. And I'm so excited to be sitting here with Rachael, CEA, and Second Soul Studios, my two companies. We put out a promotion about a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, it might have been at this point, where we had a contest with different business owners to apply to have a complete makeover for their business. And Gigglewaters won our contest. And I'm back to talk to Rachael to see how everything's going and see how you like everything.
Everything is good. You know what? That contest, Kelly, came at the best time. It was such a we were post-COVID, and just the PTSD of what every restaurant owner had gone through was so rough. I'd lost my mom in the process. It was a really dark minute in my life. And then you walked in the door with a basket and balloons and said, you won something. And it was such a great pick me up. I don't know if I ever told you how much that came at just the best time in my life. I can't be more grateful for that. It was awesome.
You were there for a lot of people too, and really gave back your time and your staff's time in a time period that was really hard for a lot of people as well. And you deserve to have somebody give something to you.
It was very much appreciated. Thank you for that. It was my experience was so great with you guys in every level. It was so professional, and everyone talks about the adage of working in your business or working on your business, right? Mm-hmm. And I was constantly in a survival mode working in my business, especially at that time. But really, since opening, the website was the website, and you're dealing with all of the bits and pieces of granularly running a restaurant, right? And you don't get an opportunity. I didn't have an opportunity to step back and look at what is it we're putting out? What does our collateral look like? What does our website look like? What does what does our photography look like? And in that moment when you swept in with your angel wings and said, you've won, we got to really look and take the time to think about how are we appealing to people? How are we, what is our best foot forward? And what you were able to accomplish both with Second Soul and with CEA was really nothing short of remarkable. And we still are so grateful for it.
Thank you. I mean, that's what we love to do for our clients is kind of take a look at everything when we come in, we do a whole audit of the business on the marketing side and find out what are the things that are working and what are the things that aren't working and what can we enhance or what do we need to completely scrap and start over and build new.
Yes.
And we had a lot of fun with your brand because I was able to bring in both of my companies to do different things. One of the first projects that we worked on is I brought my team in here, and we had a wonderful photographer, Jeremy.
Yes, Jeremy Scott. He was fantastic. Yes, that was amazing. It was amazing because not only did he take beautiful pictures of our food and of our team, but he taught us while he was working, which was amazing. I was watching him teach the group that was here about how to take great photography and what side lighting did for food. I really learned that. And now when I take a picture, I'll drag a chair in front of our door and I'll set the food on it and I'll get the side light and the depth is so different. And so it was cool just to learn from him, let alone have professional pictures that have now run in all kinds of places. Like we were on Travel Channel and on Man vs. Food, rather, on the Cooking Channel. And his picture that he took of the commissioner from that we won from you guys was what kind of sold them on coming here. So it had a huge impact for us, huge.
Yeah, photography is a key component for businesses. I don't think a lot of businesses really realize the importance of having really great photography because that's really what sells the menu, especially for restaurants.
Yeah, well now we've upgraded our online ordering and I'm using all of those pictures on our online ordering pages so that I can have a better display of what our food actually looks like. And it's so funny because when I see the pictures that he did through Second Soul next to the pictures I've taken or staff has taken, it's such a vast difference that if I'm a consumer, I'm 100% ordering the food that looks beautiful and not the things I shot on my phone. So lesson in life, yes.
Yeah, we also had the whole team of people that part of my staff and a few other people came in for the photography course as well, which is one of the things that we offer at Second Soul. So we had a fun time taking pictures of your food that day.
Yeah, I wanted to just kind of get out of the pictures and go attend the class because it was really valuable. Jeremy had a ton to teach. I learned a lot that day.
Yeah, I think it's just important to learn really good photography skills, for your business, especially if you're offering a product that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
So people can, it sells. Like, oh my God, like you look at the picture of that cheeseburger, you're going to want to eat that cheeseburger.
Well, and now I'm a little bit judgy about it now because when I see, especially in the food truck space, because we've gotten into that in the last year, when I see pictures of people's food on the side of their truck and it looks janky, it gives me a different perception of what that product is. And the product might be fantastic, truly. But when I'm getting through like a kind of scummy looking, dirty picture, it feels like, is that food clean? And that's a weird thing to think because it's not something I think normally. But when I'm just having to purchase like on a truck based on that picture, it makes a huge difference in my perception of the place.
It's also all about the food styling. How does
Yes.
it look on the plate?
Yes.
It has to come out of the oven right at a certain time
Yes.
with like the cheese melting.
Absolutely. And how fast the food dies if you don't spray it with water, or if you don't, it takes 1 minute from cheese to go from melty and gorgeous to plastic looking, right? Just the cooling time. And so
Yep.
that timing, I didn't realize how critical that timing was.
It really is, and it makes a huge difference. So it's fun to learn photography, and I'm glad you're
Yes.
enjoying your pictures.
Yes.
And so once we were able to do that photo shoot and bring Jeremy in here, take the good pictures, and from there our next thing is we took a look at the website at the time, and usually we always recommend to our clients, like, how old is this website? How is it functioning? And after about 5 years or so, you should always be looking at giving yourself an update. And Rachael and Gigglewaters was ready for an update for their website
Yes.
with their brand new photos. So
Yes.
talk about that process a little
So
bit.
what was cool about that was really thinking about, so much of a website is built out of need in the moment, right? So, oh my gosh, we got to add a ticket sale part. Oh my gosh, we got to integrate online ordering. And it becomes kind of a hodgepodge of itself because you're adding things as you go. When you can take the step back and someone guides you through what would a dream website look like? What are you inspired by? What websites speak to you? It was such a good opportunity for us to just think holistically from 30,000 feet of what we would love from that website. And so having these brand new pictures and understanding the color and the tone and the feel and the modernization of it, we had the functionality. We always had Adam Johnson has been helping us for years on our website out of England, and he's wonderful. We love him. And he had built in beautiful functionality for us on the back end, but to have the aesthetic match where we were 5 years later
Yes.
and rebuild to be seamlessly integrated into what he did was remarkable for us and just gave it a huge facelift. I love that.
Yeah, because along with Gigglewaters, the restaurant, you also have the movie theater as well.
Right, and that has a lot of logistical challenges. We're only selling 32 tickets, and so just having, he built a back end where we could sell the tickets, but having that work and integrate with the style that you had brought up there was huge for us.
Yeah, it's nice, and then having each different section planned out, and also having that online menu that
Yep.
people can look at.
Yep, and
Probably made a big difference.
having a way to, we had done a lot, as you mentioned, during the pandemic. I mean, Feeding the Front Lines was our lifeblood and what we wanted to do and how we wanted to help in that time. And we had all these news clips and stories and things, but we didn't have anywhere to have them live in a way that was presentable or that looked good, right? Other than like a link, a hyperlink, right? And who's going to click on that? So,
Yes.
so the way you were able to bring those pieces to life and those photos to life and that kind of scroll bar of our story of what we've done for the community, and that's a huge core value for us as a company. So being able to share that in a way that was easily received by the viewer was really cool. That was special for us.
Yeah, I think it turned out really nice.
It did. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And another thing that CEA and Second Soul do and that we offered Rachael was to create a video for your company. Rachael, Gigglewaters is also offering franchise opportunities for anybody that's interested in opening up a really cool, hip restaurant. This is a place. You should talk to Rachael. But we wanted to create a video that sold the company and talked about your core values and all the different things that you do. I'm sure we're getting ready to make some updates in the video as well. So you want to talk a little bit about the video and the whole process with that?
What I loved about that process in particular was the list of questions and the dialogue we had in advance to talk about who is this appealing to. Because I think the thing about franchising, and I've worked in franchising prior, I was a vice president of operations for an international education company, and what I learned is how hard it is to have the wrong franchise, right? To have the wrong franchisee. And so you want to attract the right people and also say no to the wrong people. It's a marriage and it's a partnership, and you want people who are aligned with your core values. If it's somebody who doesn't care about the community, it's not the right person for us, because that's too important to us, right? To sacrifice or to compromise on. So what I loved about that was looking at talk about your target demographic, talk about who the values of the person you want to work with. And we talked about all of those things, and that went into us building what we thought was important to get across, right? Our mission statement, our why of what we do, why we do. And so why we do what we do. And so I think that part of the process was really awesome. And then shooting the video in general, I thought was just a fun experience. And yes, we'll probably have to update a couple things because life has changed so drastically over the last couple of years. But I think that is giving us a really living, breathing piece to show people, flat imagery is beautiful and is necessary and is hypercritical. You can't order a picture of food without a picture, right? I can't show a video. But this video that shows a little more of who we are was a really nice glimpse into, what kind of a company someone would be signing up to be a part of. And that's awesome.
It's all about the storytelling.
Yes. And I loved how you did that.
And the core values is really key, because you're right, you don't want to have the wrong franchisee coming in, and because that could be a complete nightmare.
100%. And I think it's important for anyone who's looking to do something like this, that you take the time first, that they take the time first to identify what those core values are. Because if you don't know who you are, it's hard to attract someone who resonates with that, right? So find yourself first, and that will help the marketing process, because then you can be really clear in communicating with you, like, no, this is what we want, and then you can help tell that story.
Yes. And the whole video process was a lot of fun for our team, because we had to interview your team as well, and then shoot video of the bartenders making my favorite place to go in Safety Harbor is Gigglewaters for their craft cocktails.
Thank
the
you.
best. If you haven't been here, you've got to have a great hamburger. Their cocktails, my fave.
I appreciate that. We just won Best Burgers and Best Cocktails and Best Neighborhood Bar and a bunch of other things from Tampa Bay Times.
I saw that on your social media.
Yes, I was very excited about that.
Thank you.
For that. Thank you. It's nice to be recognized.
And that's a lot of categories to win in.
We had six this year. I know. We had
great.
It was brunch, neighborhood bar, most romantic, which was sweet. I recommend seeing Ghost on Valentine's Day, super romantic date in our movie theater. What were the cocktails? Neighborhood bar, brunch, burger, food truck. I'm forgetting one more. Oh, I can't remember what the fifth one was, but that's a good problem when you can't remember the awards you're winning. So
that is a good problem.
I'm excited about that.
Well, it means your community loves you, and this is such an awesome place to go. Speaking of the community and Gigglewaters, can you just tell us, what have you been doing lately since we last had our podcast?
Holy
It's
smokes.
been a while.
Yeah, I mean, the food truck was the biggest new thing that we started. And that really officially started around November of last year. We did a couple things prior to that. One was we were down in Estero Island in Fort Myers Beach after the hurricane to do some recovery efforts and to help feed the frontline responders that were down there that were doing search and rescue, search and recovery, all of that during that time. We had the teams with the cadaver dogs. And I mean, it was really a heartbreaking time to be down there. But we wanted to kind of feed people, and what I've learned and what I learned during COVID was that food is the ultimate source of comfort. That's the immediate, if you look at, Maslow's hierarchy, food is really the first thing, shelter and food, right? And so you can't come in with counseling and resources and money and support. Right now, in the moment of a crisis, what someone needs is a hot meal. That feels like an immediate need you can meet, and that's something we can provide. And that's part of why we put the food truck together and why we wanted to do it. And we went with a 30-foot beautiful build out of a huge kitchen, and it is a mobile kitchen more than a food truck. It is built for disaster relief. We did a lot of things like putting the propane underneath it so that we could get through disaster areas, putting charging stations for people's phones on the outside of the truck so that we could be there to help. And the goal was that if there, God forbid, is a natural or man-made disaster, we can deploy this truck. So if there's a hurricane, in Georgia, and we can, or in, Panhandle or whatever, we can drive there within a day. If we can get there, we can set up shop and we can feed the linesmen who are there for the first, 2 weeks of recovery efforts, and we can be there to provide support and services. And so when we had just gotten the truck and Estero Island happened, and we were like, oh my God, are we ready? Like I don't even know how to turn this thing on, right? So we weren't ready to start full business yet, but we were ready to test what we thought we could do. And we've had a wonderful partnership with GFS, Gordon Food Service, who was able to meet us down there and bring supplies for us to be able to cook and to be there for those guys. And I know it made a huge impact. And that's the kind of work that is really meaningful. The truck is allowing us to do what we did with the front lines on a much bigger scale. In addition to that, we also have to run it as a business so that we can afford to have this truck. So we have been working a ton. We're out about 6 days a week, sometimes 2 events a day.
I saw you last weekend at Coachman.
Yes,
I was excited to see
yes.
you, the grand opening of the big
Sound
amphitheater.
It's this amazing music venue called the Sound at Coachman Park, and it is awesome. It is awesome. It was an overwhelming experience. It's our first time.
I'd love to see the food trucks out there instead of the carny food that they used to have there. So much better.
So Ruth Eckerd Hall,
clean, classy.
I love it. John Sorelli is running the food and beverage over at Ruth Eckerd Hall, and he does a wonderful job of curating kind of the trucks and communicating with us and figuring out how to do it. And he hired us to come out there, as a contracted food truck. So we'll be at all the Sound events, which I'm so happy about. I know, I loved it.
We'd love to have you there.
It was so much fun. And then I can announce here for the first time, breaking news, Kelly, that he's also bringing us in, starting in the end of August, to be the food service provider for Ruth Eckerd Hall. So we will be going there. I know, I'm so excited. I love Ruth Eckerd. Thank you. So we'll be doing the food service starting in August at Ruth Eckerd Hall. So when you come to see a show and you grab a bite to eat ahead of time, that will be us.
Okay, you're gonna have a food truck out front, or
no, the food truck team is going to be executing it, but it won't be.
Okay.
It'll be executed from inside. So when you go up to that counter to order food, when you first walk in, there's a couple. You can order food there or from the bar in the back. There's a kind of a ghost kitchen in the back, and we'll be working out of that kitchen to provide Gigglewaters food.
That is great.
Yes.
Yay.
So it's cool because it's
they needed something like that too.
I think it'll be great. I think it's a real win-win. I love that venue. I love Ruth Eckerd Hall. I actually performed on that stage when I was in high school, so it feels like a cool full service moment, a full circle moment. Full service is my life now. But yeah, so we're excited about that. So it's something that we want to get into in the future, is doing non-traditional stores. So kind of like the kiosk model or the Armature Works model. And this is giving us an opportunity to kind of see what that looks like from a different perspective. So it's a step towards that.
It's a great plan. I
I'm
like
excited.
it. And that leads us into franchise.
Yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about what your plans are
Yes.
for that? Because I know some things change, but you've added the food truck, which is so smart
Yep.
because food trucks that's the thing today.
I think so. We kind of put the brakes on for a second. We launched our FDD about a week prior to COVID happening, and that's a great time to launch a new business, as we all learned. And so we really did nothing with it for a year. And then the next year was really the rebuilding year we all went through, with staffing issues and just trying to get back to where we were. And so we weren't in a position to look at expansion, right? You have moments of expansion and you have moments of stabilization, and we were in a stabilization moment. So as last year ended and we had gotten this food truck and we started that in November, we thought, you know what, let's pump the brakes for 1 second. Let's pull back our FDD. Let's rewrite it entirely and build out an opportunity for people that would just want to franchise a food truck, which is a great opportunity. It's a really different business. Instead of the 52 employees I have here, I have 3 that have to be at a truck. Right. The overhead is much lower.
It is.
You have a different.
It's more doable for some people.
It's on our FTD that's coming out, you can get in as low as 113,000 on the truck with payments. So you can get into that as an easier business than doing necessarily a full brick and mortar.
Right.
They appeal to 2 different kinds of people. I love being on the truck. I love being at a carnival. I love being at a concert. Like, that's really fun to me. So I think there are people who are of the truck people and people who are of the brick and mortar people.
Right.
And I will find the kiosk people down the road. And so what's been neat is pausing franchising for a second, retooling the FDD entirely, rewriting the entire thing, so that people can have different options. And all of that is getting ready to launch, I would say, within the next month. So we're at the tail end of finalizing all of those details, setting up the landing page for franchising, all of the things that have to be in place to kind of make that happen. But I'm really excited that to be able to offer right now 2 options and with a placeholder for the 3rd coming, so that we can kind of build this brand in different facets.
That sounds great. It sounds like you're in a perfect place to do that now with all the new opportunities that you've gotten with Ruth Eckerd Hall to show what that looks like doing that, and then the food truck.
It's exciting, and it's, you can't do it until you're ready. We needed to do this to understand what the pitfalls are,
Right.
what the, crisis operations are, how you handle it. The thing about franchising is it's standing on the shoulders of someone else's struggle and getting a playbook so that you know what to do. So you don't have to learn the hard lessons. You don't have to struggle in the same way, because we've put together a really turnkey system where it becomes, I wish I could have fast forwarded my 5 years of struggle and said like, oh, here, Rachel, here's the easy way to do this, right? But that's what we can offer a franchisee, is to say, we've figured it out. We spent a lot of time banging our heads to put together a program so that you can walk in and have the support that we didn't necessarily have for ourselves. We learned the hard way, so you don't have to.
Right. And it's hard because the survival rate of most restaurants is not very high.
Absolutely.
So having a successful company with a proven track record that can basically say, here's our handbook,
Yep.
and we're here to support you.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's almost a no-brainer than trying to go off and do something yourself.
100%. I think having support is everything. And there were times that
is.
we were in it on our own and struggling. And I'm so grateful that we came through and figured it out and were able to really hammer out what went wrong and what went right and what that system should look like, so that someone else doesn't have to go through that struggle, for sure.
That's great. If somebody is interested in learning more about franchising, how do they get more information from you?
The first thing is franchising at gigglewaters.com. Shoot us an email and talk there. If you go on gigglewaters.com, there's a franchising tab right now, and we're redoing that. But there is a franchising tab. You can send in an inquiry right through there, and that will also reroute to franchising.com, at gigglewaters.com, so that it will shoot us an email, and it will just give us some basic information. Again, that will be really splashy in like a month, but it's a really good starting point to start a conversation.
Okay, great. And then if you want to come to Gigglewaters, Safety Harbor,
Yes.
the place to be, obviously. Look at all those awards.
Thank you. You can come see a movie. Some people have come here for years as a restaurant and don't realize we have a whole movie theater in the back, which is wild to me. But there's a 32-seat movie theater, and you can watch classic movies. You can, we always have just fun stuff. We did, are you familiar with the movie The Room?
I'm not.
It's just terrible, and I love it so much. It's the best, worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I love every second of it. It's got a real cult following, and it's kind of growing. We just did another showing of it last Friday, and it's growing in like a Rocky Horror way. People bring plastic spoons to throw in the theater, and there's all these things that you yell. It's got this. If I can recommend one film for you to see and thoroughly enjoy, it's called The Room.
I'm gonna sign
you
up.
got to see this.
When is it?
So I'll see you on our next. We're doing them every couple months. We'll do another screening of it. We actually got a custom video from Greg Sestero, who plays Mark, the best friend in The Room, saying like his favorite room is Gigglewaters screening room, and he's hoping to come join us at one of our future screenings. So whether you're coming for a cocktail or coming in for a good dinner, or you want to come see a movie with us, there's something for everyone at Gigglewaters.
There absolutely is. There absolutely is. Well, we really enjoyed working with you on everything. Hope you love your marketing.
I do. It was genuinely a pleasure. Like literally, I think marketing can feel like a bad word to some people, or a scary thing, or a thing that you just don't have time and don't want to deal with. And I really loved my experience both with CEA and with Second Soul, and specifically with you, Kelly, in navigating the process of what a refresh would look like. And so thank you for that.
You're welcome. Again, look at all, you've heard all those things that you did for the community, and you're still doing those things, and that's part of your mission statement, and I just love that. So if anybody deserved it, you do.
Thank you.
So congratulations and good job on everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to watch you
Thank
grow.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you everyone for tuning in to today's episode of Learning Curves. See you next time. At CEA Marketing, we take your business, your passion, and your why, and we sell it. If you're unsure where to start marketing your company, CEA Marketing is here to help. Our team at CEA has tons of experience and top-notch training, which helps you take all the stress and confusion out of marketing your own business. After years of working with large companies like Pulte Homes and Metro Places, we guarantee the successful implementation of a marketing strategy.